singers and rappers that talk about their days in the hood. Some of them, like Akon, came out of jail. Some of them are going back into jail. But the whole point is that there's opportunity. As long as there is opportunity, a little bit, you can move from one social class to the next as long as you're willing to do the work. And if you make the wrong decisions, you can go from the wealthy class to the poor class. That's also your liberty to do. Government has nothing to do with it unless they get in your way or unless they beat on you once you make it. I don't see Obama or any of you liberal socialists out there pounding some of the wealthiest people in this country. Those entertainment industry. I mean, is there any more? You want to talk about disparity? Listen, they always talk about disparity. This CEO, he makes 39 times more than the janitor. Okay. Well, that CEO, what did he make? Pulled in $1 million. Then how do you explain somebody with like Tom Cruise, he gets what, $25 million a picture for what, 3, 4, 5 months of work? How many times more is he? Plus, if you're an A-lister, or even if you're a B-lister, I mean, sometimes if you're a big enough star, the right kind of star, and it's the right kind of movie for you, you're getting a percentage of the gross ticket sales or net ticket sales, whatever they get. They're getting a part of the ticket sales. Was it Johnny Depp off the Pirate series made like $100 million just for himself? How much did the janitor on those sets make? I don't see anybody running around talking about how much money Tom Cruise is making, and it's just not fair. I don't see anybody running, and he's not really producing anything but entertainment. I guess that's okay. I don't see anybody running around, how much are some of the football players getting now? I mean, multi-millions of dollars a year for playing a game. I don't see anybody talking trash about Michael Jordan. Oh, man, look how much money Michael made playing basketball. And half people that love Michael couldn't even afford to go to the game, which is true. Because ticket prices to the sporting events are outrageous. I don't see anybody talking about how it's terrible that all these sports stars are making millions and millions every year and ticket prices keep going up so they can pay these salaries. No, that's fine. But if you're a businessman, a CEO of a company, whether it be privately held or publicly held, oh no, you're rich. You need to pay your fair share. And all the while, you're saying, well, these rich people need to give us jobs. Well, the government's taking all their money through taxation, so how can they afford to pay you? I mean, does anybody stop and think about that? No, and I hear from people all the time, well, the rich are just getting off scot-free. No, we've got fewer millionaires today than we had in this country 4 years ago. So even the wealthy got hit by this recession. We have fewer millionaires today. And this is a fact. Go check it up and, ask, Google it. Look at government statistics. There are fewer millionaires today. Well, as far as filings go and everything for 2011, fewer millionaires in 2011 than there were when Obama took office in 2009. So the 2008 tax year, 2009 tax year. Fewer. I would say that the rich got hit pretty hard, too. There's also this notion that we've been sold a bill of goods on. Because, the average middle-class person, they've seen their net worth drop, 30, 40, 50%. Well, that's because the vast majority of middle-class people, their wealth is in their primary residence. And we know what happened to real estate. It took a hit. The problem is, folks, I know I'm a little I'm probably going to sound a little radical here, but follow me. Your home, your main residence, the one that you spend most of your time in, that you live in, it is not an asset. Now, I know you have been told and taught differently, but pay attention real closely. It will, if you understand this, you will make leaps and bounds in your personal finance over your friends, your relatives, and everybody else who do not understand this. Your personal residence, an asset, is something that produces income. That could be a savings account. It could be a stock or a bond. It could, maybe you're one of those people that fancies himself an angel investor. I mean, now even the little guy, because what are there are places on the web you can go like a crowdsourcing, where you can give somebody $100 towards a startup company or something. Just about almost everybody can afford $100, right? And so you put in $100 and it produces, you act like an angel investor, and you can get a good return. You can lose your $100, but the $100 could also turn out to be $1,000. That's an asset. It's producing an income for you. It's producing a return. It's producing a positive return. Your home does not. As a matter of fact, if you were to actually put it on paper, your primary residence is a liability. Why? Because every month you have to pay the mortgage. You have to pay the interest on that mortgage. You have to pay the taxes. You have to pay the insurance. And you have to pay for any and all repairs, maintenance, and upkeep. It's like a car. Frankly, on paper, when you look at your main residence, it's like a car. It sucks up an awful lot of your cash, but gives you nothing back until you sell. If you ever do. So you don't have a profit until you sell it. Now here's the difference. Investment property. Well, let's say you live in your house, nice 3-bedroom. Next door, there's another nice 3-bedroom that's for sale. You buy that 3-bedroom. You don't live there. You rent it out. Your mortgage, taxes, insurance and interest, everything. Let's say it's $1,500 a month out of your pocket. You rent it out for $2,000 a month. That house is now an asset. It's producing a positive cash flow of $500 income into your pocket each and every month. Your home is costing you $1,500 a month. It's not giving you any money back. It's like a car. Nobody can. I know people say, well, your car is a big investment. Nobody really considers a car as an asset. And we should change the term. The car is not an investment either. If it is, it's a very bad one. Because as soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses, 10 to 20% of its value. That's an investment? That's a very bad one. It's a liability. And most people, when they go out and buy a car, what do they get? What do they finance it for? 5 or 6 years now. Most people are underwater on their car when they finance it for that long. For the first 2.5 to 3.5 years, depending on what your interest rate is, you owe more than what your car is worth. When you finance it that way, people don't realize that until they go and trade it in. Well, wait a minute. I only had the car for 3 years. The price tag was $30,000. I put $2,000 down, so I had a $28,000 loan, and 3 years later, I still owe $15,000 on it. But you're only going to give me $11,000 for trade, and the blue book says it's only worth $13,000. Where'd the other $2,000 go? A lot of people. This is why you hear about ads talking about how they can pay off. They'll pay off your trade no matter how much you owe. They're not really paying off your trade. They're rolling it over into your new car. which means before you even drive that new car, you're already underwater because they just tacked on the $15,000 from this car onto your new $30,000 car. So now you have a note that's, $45,000 on a $30,000 car. At some point, a bank is going to, and you go in and trade this one in, the bank's going to say, nope, you got to pay this one off first. Because they're not going to go that far underwater. People are underwater with their cars, too. Their homes. Those are not assets. They're liabilities. And this is part of the notion with the whole thing about net worth. Bill Gates might have a net worth of $50 billion, but he doesn't have $50 billion in cash, nor if he tried to sell all his $50 billion worth of assets, would he actually get $50 billion? It would be a fire sale price. He'd be lucky if he got a fifth of that. You got to look at things differently. The lamestream media and politicians have pointed you in a certain direction. So now, whenever they toss out little sound bites to you about certain things like, oh, yeah, the rich need to pay more, you fall in willingly because you don't fully understand. And it's not your fault. You haven't been taught this stuff. Look, many of our parents, our grandparents, if your parents or grandparents were born before the year, say, 1950, actually during the Depression era and before, if they're not baby boomers, if they're, Depression era babies or before, then they understand this. They probably understand because this is something that they were probably taught. Baby boomers weren't taught this. We were taught something totally different. Yeah, go to college, get a degree, get a good job, work there for 40 years, and you'll be fine. You buy your house, GI Bill, come on, buy your house, that's an asset. And everybody, yeah, buy your own house. That's the way, the American dream is owning your own home. Yeah, it's a great dream. Really is. But as it was sold is not the truth. What the politicians are trying to sell us last night in the debate was not the truth on both sides. So now it comes down to who was lying the least. Frankly, Romney. He was lying the least. But lying the least, being the one that lies the least, is not a win for the American people. So the question is, again, who won the debate last night? No, the question is, who lost it? We the people lost last night. Because Romney's too scared to say, well, you know what? We can't afford this social type of stuff. You're going to have to take care of yourself at some point. No, he jumped on the bandwagon. No, I'm going to save this program. I'm going to save that program, Social Security, Medicare, and we're going to bring down the rates, but we're still going to let the rich, pay 60% of the total price tag. Who wins on that? There is not a single person in this country that ever got to be prosperous and wealthy by taxing somebody else to death. Name me somebody. Oh, taxes, they benefit the poor. Really? Name me somebody who got rich off of taxing somebody else. Name me a poor person who got wealthy and financially independent by taxing somebody else. There isn't anybody. Well, we need these programs. Really? Why? Every day of every year we hear, well, it ain't enough. We need to raise the price. We need more. We need more. Who's going to pay it? Money's got to come from somewhere. When you have a budget that's $2 trillion and you have income coming from taxes that's only $1 trillion, are you really going to make that much more by taxing people more. Well, where are they going to get